We're going. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode. Yes, as you can see, I am supporting nice and proud. Tonight, the Sounders are playing. Welcome. Hello, Jess. Hello, Sal. How are you guys?
All right.
So the international break is finally complete. This past weekend, we had some beautiful football, some beautiful playoff soccer in America, and then we had a beautiful derby, or no, not derby, more like a rivalry with Man U, Liverpool. There was just a ton of soccer, and our heads couldn't get wrapped around it easily.
A lot of soccer.
We have Jeff there excited with his 1 point. We'll get into that.
Not excited about whatever.
But yeah, like, I don't know, man. It's just great. And by the way, for everybody that watched the last episode, thank you so very much. It is the best viewership that we have had so far. So thank you very much. Let's continue. So what do we want to start first? Because it's so much.
There's a lot of.
We'll start. We'll start Saturday on the Premier League. No.
Yeah, let's do that.
We'll go.
So let's.
Chelsea, who's surprising, winning still against Newcastle, 1-0. So climbing up the table, which none of us really thought was going to happen.
Yeah, I definitely thought Lampard was going to struggle, but he's got those boys playing some good ball right now, some good football. I believe there was a Pulisic sighting today in the Champions League as well, and he was creating something. So that's good. We on the channel, we've been really complaining about his playing time. So it's finally good to see him out there and actually contributing as well.
I think there was a sighting as well on the weekend, wasn't there?
Yes, but it wasn't as good as today's.
Right.
Which we'll get to. But yeah, so we can complain about the weekend sighting. I guess we can't really complain because we got on the pitch.
Right.
So
gotta take what we can get.
We can be excited about it. So finally, Lampard is putting a little bit of faith in our man, we could say.
Yeah.
You know, it feels good. Surprisingly enough, Chelsea is number 4 on the table. Oof. I know it has to hurt a lot of like the bigger clubs that aren't even near the top 6.
What are you trying to say?
Well, yeah, I'm talking about your team is one of them. Tottenham is another one. Well, Tottenham is number 7. So I guess they're somewhat close. But from what they did last year to what we all expected Chelsea to be doing this season, Tottenham kind of feels a little bit down in the dumps as well. They're like, yo, how the heck is Lampard doing this with a transfer ban? These really young kids, but you know what it is? It's Tammy Abraham, it's Mason Mount, and it's just a defense that is doing what it's supposed to do. Jorginho holding it down in midfield. Is Conte playing like every game now? Like, because I remember at the beginning of the season he was.
I think he's still out. Let's see.
No, I don't think I saw him.
He was out. Yeah, he was out this game.
Yeah, he was out. But you see, there you're missing a big key in your midfield, and you're still getting the results. It's very impressive. And this trend, since we started with our first episode of people just shutting me up, it's just ridiculous. Like, it continues, and then maybe I should be that type of person. I should just be like, I guess, I don't know, proud of that, because like, you know, it goes to show that like these players or coaches or whatever, you know, they show up and they have what it takes to continue doing or to do good, I guess you could say. I don't know if that's just all on me. I'm gonna take it as it's a me thing, but you know, I don't know if I really have all that power. So Newcastle gets stumped on again. After was the week before, is that when, like, before the international break, they played Man U?
Yes,
it was.
And they won.
So they beat Man U, and then they get stumped by a young Chelsea side. and a debutante manager for the season. Chelsea, from when Man United beat Chelsea, it's crazy how the tables turned.
Yeah, completely different things happening right now for both clubs. So I want to give it up to Lampard because I was definitely skeptical. I thought he would struggle, and he's not. You know what I mean? So big ups to Lampard and what they're doing at Chelsea. Like you said, transfer ban, couldn't bring players in, and he's working with what he has. And like you said as well, Tammy Abraham. You know, you were saying people were shutting you up. I was very critical of Tammy Abraham, especially for what I saw in the first game against Man U. You know, and he has completely shut my mouth completely. I'm rooting for him. And you know, he's a solid player. And Frank is getting the best out of those young guys. And if he can integrate Pulisic into that young team and get him firing, get him assisting, they might be hard to beat come December and next year in January. So
yeah, all that once that transfer ban is lifted, then who knows where Chelsea's at that point.
Right,
so,
for sure.
Because at this point, we're looking at a Tottenham side that no one wants to be there, apparently. We're looking at a Man United side that's rebuilding and an Arsenal side that Dzeko and Hyde. So Chelsea is at this point the one of the top 6 that we can truly say are improving as it's going along.
Right. For sure.
And we'll have a lot of good key talking points about it again later. We'll wrap around back to Chelsea at some point in the show. Another decent game, which kind of had implications on the top 2 race, is I believe it was Man City and Crystal Palace.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And for the beginning half, or I guess the first half, it ended up in a 0-0 tie at halftime, I think.
No, 39th minute is when City scored
the first
before half. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so basically for a good portion, Crystal Palace kind of held it down. And then I saw a little bit of that, and it looked like they could have had something going. They did have the home crowd kind of behind them. And Crystal Palace is one of those teams this season. Look at that. They're top 6. They're 6, actually, right behind Arsenal, a point behind Arsenal. And you figured the way this game started, it could just be another downhill slope or downhill run for Man City, another loss of points or drop points, however you want to call it. But Man City was just like, no, not today. And I believe it was a 3-0 victory.
2-0. I think City could have had a lot more goals, but
yeah. Well, it's always the case with them because they pressure so much. They always seem to at least shoot 20 plus times at the goal. They pepper your goal nonstop. It's just the 2 times they've lost this season. It's just great counterattacking by Norwich and Wolves, and they still haven't figured it out because Crystal Palace did it a couple of times, but their finishing was just very lackluster.
Right.
Zaha wasn't really too big of a threat. He's very hot and cold. He's had a good season so far. He's had a good season so far, but in this game he didn't put on his shooting boots. And so I don't know. Like, I don't know if you guys have anything to say about it, but Man City saved themselves, got the 3 points, and from what happened to Liverpool versus United, they're kind of back in the race, you could say.
What are they, 6 points back now?
6 points. Yep.
6 points, yep.
So if anybody could beat Liverpool, it could be City. That's a 3-point gap now.
Should have been us.
But then again, they should have been you, yeah. Definitely agree. So with you making that statement, let's jump right into that game. What do you think? What failed you? How excited were you? How bummed were you? Give me everything.
First of all, like, it's Liverpool, Man United, so I'm always going to be up for it no matter how shit we've been, you know. Oh, and also, first of all, I do apologize if my shiny head is blinding any of the watchers, but you guys are going to have to deal with it. It's Mr. Clean Day. So what I was going to say was basically that it was a good game plan from Ali because, he finally changed up the formation, tried something different. And we pressed them. We pressed them early. We were aggressive early. We were aggressive for that whole first half. And it was great. I thought that everybody played well. I mean, we lack a lot of quality, but everybody had a job and everybody was sticking to it. Rashford making really good runs. The goal that we scored on that break from Dan James with that cross was wicked. But then again, it's still like a learning curve because I think I even talked to you at halftime, Mario, and was like, man, I hope in the second half we come out with the same intensity. And we didn't do that. We kind of laid off a bit and we let them back in the game. And, the more they got into the rhythm, the more they were able to kind of, get into the flow of the game. And they kind of caught us lacking for a split second on defense. And then we kind of conceded late. So to be honest with you, before the game, if you told me, hey, would you take a draw against Liverpool? Hell yeah, all day, especially how bad we've been. But watching the game, getting that draw, it kind of feels like a loss because, we really had them on the ropes. They didn't look that good, to be honest. And it's like we said, it's like we've talked about majority of the season so far. Like, I feel like they're there to be had. You know what I mean? Like, you can score goals on this team. You could beat this team. It's just more like, can you defend long enough against them because they're going to get their chances. But yeah, man, I'm disappointed, man. I feel like we could have gotten 3 points. We did get the draw. So it's not a total waste, but at the end of the day, we played well enough to win that game and we should have. So I'm disappointed, but I'm happy that Ali was finally able to change up the system and try something else. Again, I feel like the substitutions were late. You bring on Martial with like 10 minutes left. The guy, he's not going to be able to get into the game like that. That's one thing I've been critical with Ali. A lot of the fans have been critical with him is about his late substitutions. Is he tactically aware enough to, make things happen on the fly? Those are things that are still questions. But all in all, I mean, it's a disappointment, but there's improvement. So I guess I'm indifferent. I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for, but yeah. So yeah, I guess pretty much just like an indifference or whatnot.
So yeah, like you brought it up. My main issue with the whole game, because I loved the intensity throughout the whole 90 minutes, the atmosphere, that just hearing it through my little stereo here, watching the game, streaming on Fubo TV. It's just like, as soon as the game started, I was like, man, I'm a very neutral fan when it comes to the Premier League. Yeah, I have a team or two that I like and all that. I think Justin froze. Did Justin freeze?
Yeah, he froze. He froze.
Okay. Oh, he's in and out.
You hear me?
Did I leave him? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna leave Justin there.
Club Brujas came back.
Yeah.
I'm back. I'm back.
So they are back.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm back. Technical difficulties. I'm still in here. It's the shiny head, guys. I'm sorry. The head is shining. It's doing all kind of stuff.
Too much energy. So what I was trying to say, like, everything came together. The Rashford goal just made it all the more better because even though I'm a neutral fan, I don't want to see Liverpool win. I don't like the Liverpool fan base. I might like one or two people, whatever, that's here or there. But what got to me was Klopp was making the subs that needed to be made. You know what I'm saying? He injected his team with new life in certain positions that made a difference. And you said, I was about to say Moyes. Whew. Oh, God, Ole kind of just sat back and let him do all that. You know what I'm saying? And was just like, you know what? Yeah, get your fresh legs on there. Put more pressure on us. So on and so forth. And it's just like, dude, it's like, you really think your players can hold on for a full 90 minutes? It's just like.
But to be fair to him, though, even though I am still critical about the late sub because he always does that, we don't really have too much that we can bring on. We're really thin, you know what I mean? So there's not much that he can choose from. But still, like you said, Klopp was mixing and matching and trying to get that right thing to click while Ali allowed it to, to happen. So
yeah, he brought pace. Klopp brought pace with what's his name? Oxlade-Chamberlain. Then he brought in who's the guy? Oh my God, I forget his name.
Lallana. He brought in Lallana.
Yeah.
Lallana, yeah. So then you got speed, you got more creativeness, and then
Keita, I think.
Not Keita. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Keita, which is a good passer. He has some creativeness, but he's also plays a little bit more defensive. So he kind of injected Liverpool with a good dose of, like I said, what was needed. And Ole just was just like, yeah, we're just going to sit back and absorb this. And okay, it was working. But that one lapse kind of shoots you in the foot. And the thing is, like, you might not have a lot to go with, but what's so hard about putting a couple more fresh legs and then put your star that's coming back from injury for maybe 50 minutes? Maybe 20.
You got to give him more time. You got to give him more time to get in the game. You have to. He hasn't played in months.
Because you put him in, and then within those couple of minutes of him being in, that's when you get scored on. And what is he really supposed to do with that little bit of time left? So that's what kind of bummed me out. And that's where I feel like, yeah, I would agree with you. If I was a United fan, I wouldn't be too proud of the 1 point. You could have had all three because you put in two players that, whatever, they're not big names, but you just tell them, sit back. Don't react too crazy. Don't make any bad fouls. Don't, whatever. And just follow what we've been doing for the past 80 minutes. I don't know, whatever, It's simple, I guess, but can they actually perform it? You would hope so, But all in all, it was a great game to watch. I didn't want to see a thrashing. You got what you got what a neutral would like to see when he watches maybe his first game. A very high intensity game, a little bit of both on each side. Man U had more intense, more attacking, I guess, chances in the first half than they did in the second. They kind of really dipped, but at that point they were probably like, let's just secure these 3 points. We'll take the 1-0, whatever. I agree.
I think that's where we.
And that's where, but like you said, you don't have much on the bench, so you can't substitute something in to get more goals. So you got to take what you had at that point. The clock was winding down.
Let me ask you something, Justin, because that play on Origi that led to the first goal, everyone has said VAR. Everyone said that should have been called back. What do you think?
Are you asking my opinion on that?
Yeah.
I think that's hilarious because, for one, the kick wasn't enough for him to go down, but then he goes down grabbing the other foot. So it's like, dude, if you're gonna go down, at least grab the right foot. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know, man. I think that's a really soft. That's just Liverpool fans trying to get something, because then you have Van Dijk crashing into Dan James, and they want him to get up and run around, and then the same thing happens when Fabinho crashes into him, but it's not you know what I mean? It's like, come on, guys, those are way worse than what happened to Origi. And then the fact that he falls down and grabs the other foot is the thing that makes it hilarious. It's like, you guys are losing. It's like you're losing that argument. The guy went down, he went down cheaply, and then he grabs the other leg. You know what I mean? So, and then if VAR went and saw that, then, and if they saw him grab the other leg, I would definitely be like, yeah, goal. You guys you're tripping. It's wild. So I think it's funny, man. Liverpool fans, they're interesting batch. That's
it was a soft foul because you could see as they slow it down, he gets kicked, and then his body does that the NBA thing where they get touched and they just and they it's like the what do you call it, the freaking charge to the chest thing? What is that damn thing called?
Oh, the defibrillator.
Yeah,
there you go. It's like if he got hit with one of those.
Yeah.
When he got hit at 2 seconds after he got his knee hit.
Crazy.
And then you talk about the James incident. The second one with Fabinho, he actually was bleeding out of his nose.
Right.
So the guy was getting roughed up out there.
Yeah, he
was taking some hits. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Dan James, man. He was hustling out there.
Yeah, he really was. He was everywhere on the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere. But yeah, it's just, this is, I guess, disappointing for you. But as a neutral, it was a good game. And I guess Man City can kind of thank you guys. So, unfortunately. But yeah, that's how it is. I don't know. What are the other scores we had going on in the league? I believe Everton got its first win.
Everton did. We have Watford and Tottenham, that was the main VAR discussion this weekend. Vertonghen basically stepping on, who did he step on?
Oh damn, I forgot who it was.
Yeah, but
Tottenham got lucky in that game.
Tottenham got lucky because that should have been called by VAR, and I don't know what VAR is watching. If they're watching Barney the dinosaur upstairs, then good for them. But VAR there has to be something to be done with VAR at this point because
it's a topic it's a topic every week, man. Every week is a topic about this VAR thing, and it's just I don't know. Whatever, man. We do a whole nother show about that part 2 of VAR.
Yeah,
but yeah, they definitely got lucky because, like Sal said, that should have been called, and they were lucky to get that. I think it was it Dele Alli that equalized late for them.
Yeah, it was. It was because of that, though. It was that led up to it, so that's kind of that. It should have been another Spurs loss.
So they're still in shambles, though.
Lucky, yeah. Even though they're in 7th place, sitting with 12 points, I don't think it really I believe it's a lot of luck. Yeah, it's luck, especially after what you guys are saying in that VAR. I didn't watch it, so if you guys say so, I'm gonna take the benefit of the doubt on that one. What happened with the Arsenal Sheffield United game?
Yeah, I definitely want to come to Sal on that one. It was 1-0 to Sheffield United.
I'm going to say when Wenger was in charge, Arsenal had the same problem with Bolton Wanderers. Anytime they would go to Bolton, for some reason, Bolton was just more physical and Arsenal couldn't handle it. I think Sheffield has just been physical with everyone who they've been playing, especially at home. We've seen in these recent game days how many teams have gone there and barely escaped with 3 points or a point. So I'm saying they are a team that's strong, but Arsenal, that starting 11 wasn't the starting 11 that I think should be there, but we have Europa League coming up tomorrow. So I do think Emery was looking at Europa League and saying, I don't want to put out my best 11 now and wait for Europa League, which he's always been great in Europa League. I wish we could have 2 managers at this point.
Well,
that's my wish. But I know
he did get robbed in the Champions League that one year, so
yeah. I mean,
he could have probably could have done something there.
He's a great European coach. I mean, I'll say it's Conte reverse. Conte can't win European championships, but he sure as hell can do it in the league. Right. And I'll say the same thing with Emery. I mean, but that was David Luiz who just couldn't mark. He didn't mark. I forget the Frenchman's name. He didn't mark him. And that was the easy goal. And so many goals. I tweeted out, Xhaka almost had his goal. If he would have made the goal that from out the box, he would have redeemed himself somewhat in my mind.
Yeah.
But everything considered, they tried. I would have loved to have still been in 3rd place, a point behind City. I can't say anything bad. I mean, Pepe, though, is the one where I'm looking at it like.
That was what I wanted to ask you. I'll come to you first, Al, but then I want Mario's opinion as well because he kind of praised Pepe earlier in FieldTalk episodes, but he misses a sitter. I mean, like a sitter he missed. I'm just wondering, like, as an Arsenal fan yourself, like, is he justifying the price tag right now? Because I think he only has like 1 goal from penalty, if I'm not mistaken.
He's not justifying his price tag right now, especially if you're missing right there in the box. You're probably what I'd say 5 inches away from the net. Ball comes to you and you just skyrocket up. It's what are you doing? Just set yourself an easy goal, but the time to adjust it, I think we're coming to a point now where we can say you should be adjusted to the Premier League at this point in time. If I'm Emery, do I sit him? Yes, I sit him because you have a Lacazette who's coming back from injury. Let Lacazette get in those minutes and then bring in Pepe from. He's
okay, so you want to bring in Pepe from the bench? You play a 2 up top then?
Yeah, I mean, it was working last year. It worked last year. We almost got into the top 4. Why not? I mean, we're not playing Ozil at this point, so why not stick Ceballos as well in to Ozil's spot? I don't know why we're playing Xhaka. Torreira should be on the side. So there is an 11 that Arsenal fans want to see, but I don't think we've seen that 11 yet. But now that everyone is healthy, when are we going to see that 11 actually play on the field? That's the big question.
Yeah, because right off the top of my head, I could make a 4-1-2-1. Wait, a 4-1-2-1-2, right? That's
4-1-2-1-2.
Yeah, that would probably be a really good starting 11.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could see them going to 2. I did praise Pepe. There was a game where I thought he played decently enough, but I did also have him as the flop for this season.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty much correct. Correct.
He's living up to it right now.
Yeah. But yeah, I did have a game. I forget what game it was. It was a big game for them. I think it was the London Derby.
I think it
was against Tottenham.
Yeah,
where he
played.
Yeah, he played good enough to help them in that game. Did they win that game, or was that
it was a draw? It was a draw.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, but he played well enough to almost get them a win, or to help them get a win. Mm-hmm. And then you also had the inclusion of Ceballos at that point too, later in the game, which changed the whole dynamic. But that's back in the past. But yeah, so Pepe. Yeah, he has 1 goal from the penalty spot. I had him as a flop. He had 1 good game, and that's about really it.
I mean, I like that you brought up Ceballos too, because I read something about Arsenal actually trying to actually bid for him for a permanent move. I think it was like a $33 million bid or £1 million bid that Madrid rejected, but they were kind of lowering the valuation to about 39. Sal, is he like somebody that you think, yeah, Madrid, Perez is like, I got to get that money. But Sal, is Ceballos somebody that you would want to stick around permanently for Arsenal, or do you mind either way?
From what I've seen of him so far, yes, I want him there.
Mm-hmm.
I need that. We need that midfield. And Ozil, I don't think is ever going to come back. And
what is he, the mascot now, right? What does he do?
I don't know. He's playing golf somewhere with Bale.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, he has to stick around. I mean, what other options are there once the transfer windows come around? So once you get a player of that quality, you make them stick around and you give them all the playing time in the world, because that's what they need. And if they're not getting playing time, then what's the point of having them? He goes back to Madrid, he's just going to go out on loan somewhere else at this point. Mario will probably agree with that. So,
well, yeah, like, okay, the price evaluation of £39 or euros or whatever the hell, million or whatever.
Yeah.
Still too low. Please pay up a little bit more. He is a great player. He has said that he loves London. He loves the atmosphere and environment that he's actually in right now. So if he wants to be there, as much as I want him at Madrid, we have too many midfielders to even count.
He did also say that he didn't see the difference between Madrid and Arsenal, which was comedy to me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, it's the things you got to say to to the fans of the current club that you're at, and it's understandable, because I'm sure he would say the same thing if he went to any other club.
How old is he, Mario?
He's young. He's 20. He was in the sub-21 national team not too long ago. I believe he's like 20, 23, 24.
All right.
Yeah, he should be just getting ready to enter the time where he needs as much games as possible to develop.
And that's what he
stay in Arsenal.
That's why he went to. That's why he got the loan. I guess that's not why he went to Arsenal, but that's why he got the loan, and he just ended up at Arsenal. And so far, so good, or great, really. He's playing really good. In the formation that I was talking about earlier, you have how do you say Guendouzi or
Guendouzi.
Guendouzi as your holding. It's Biles and Torreira next to each other, and then goodness gracious, I had the name as your attacking mid, but I can't think of it at the moment. And that's a midfield that I would want to coach, to be honest. I guess I'll figure out that.
You have them up on top. You have Lacazette and Aubameyang, and then on back you have Tierney, Bellerin, Luis, and whoever you want to stick as Luis's partner at that point. But
well, you got Socrates, and Socrates is a freaking Spartan, so you know what I'm saying. And then Leno's actually, I believe he'll be a good goalkeeper down the line. I don't see many goalkeepers that will replace him, to be honest.
No.
His ball skills are a little bit average. He does put a lot of balls in front of him and in front of the goal. It's not something you really want. But I don't know. It's just Arsenal's building a good team, and finally. And then the funny thing is about it, there's a lot of players that leave Arsenal and just end up doing a lot better. So Arsenal is just one confusing team in all in itself, or club.
Yeah.
So,
they've always been like, ever since I've gotten to a fan of that league, they've always been hot and cold. I was lucky enough to kind of like get into the Premier League right when it was them versus United. When their rivalry was, you know what I mean? So they've always been like a game or a team that, you know, you look to. But it's like you said earlier, Sal, they're Jekyll and Hyde, man. You don't know what you're going to get from them. Just like a lot of teams, but they're consistently Jekyll and Hyde, though.
Ever since those Wenger days, you knew that they were going to be good, but then there were going to be times when it's like, why are you throwing such a stinker out? My God, guys. But that's my other point. They had an identity under Wenger. They had an identity.
Right, they did.
What is their identity under Emery? And I don't think they've found that identity. So that's what's missing for this team. If they could find that identity, I really do believe they're top four. But if it stays the way it is, Frank will have Chelsea in top four, and I'll say Leicester will stay in top four.
Yeah, if Brendan Rodgers can keep them playing like they are. I mean that Leicester's a underrated team. They're a really good team. They've got good players on that team. Now, I don't know if they'll be able to hold on in the top four, but it's something that I definitely think is possible. The way the season's going right now, especially with Tottenham, Arsenal, and Man United, as inconsistent as they are, Leicester could definitely sneak in there. Maybe another team as well. It's very right now.
Yeah, very short take before we get into the Champions League, but Brendan Rodgers did it with Liverpool, and Liverpool had some big names, but not everybody was a big name. And he's kind of doing it again now. He's done it before. He could do it again. And so far, 9 match days in? And
yeah, they look good, man. They look good.
They look good.
A lot of surprises. So far.
Yeah. But just before we get into Champions League, Liverpool 1, Manchester City number 2, Leicester, we just spoke of, 3, and Chelsea 4. So that rounds out your top 4 Champions League spots. 5 is Arsenal. I'm sorry, Sal. And 6 is Crystal Palace. And then that rounds out your top 6. And your bottom 3 is Newcastle at 18, Norwich at 19, and Watford still sitting there at 20. That's not going to change for a long time.
Right. I think they might go down this year.
No, they're definitely going down.
I had a lot of hopes for them, man, but they just look bad, bro.
But yeah, just a little interesting fact as well. From 7th to 15th, or let's throw Brian in there. If we throw Brian in there, it's a 3-point difference. From 11 to 15, it's 2 points, and from 11 to 16, it's 3 points difference. So the table, it can take a lot of turns coming up. It just depends who plays like they want to stay up in the Premier League. So this week, today was the final day, right?
Champions League, yeah.
Champions League.
Yeah. So today was the final day. We are doing it a day before. We're gonna give you a smack ton of soccer.
What was that, man?
There we go. I don't know.
The push.
I was feeling it. Yeah, I'm just throwing all the soccer around it. You're welcome, guys. Hope you caught some of it. Champions League, I didn't really see a lot of it, but I did see a lot of it on Twitter. So I'm gonna go with what I saw on Twitter. And I have
the reliable source, of course.
Yeah. Twitter is the best source of news ever. Believe me when I say that. So all I gotta say though is, finally we got 3 points. So if you're a Madrid fan out there with me, I know you didn't love it, but we got 3 points, so we can be excited. We're gonna go with everybody that got 3 points: Atletico, Real Madrid, PSG, Bayern, Tottenham. Tottenham put the smackdown.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
We got Juventus, 3 points. Chelsea, 3 points. I told you we were gonna get back to Chelsea, people. I told you we were gonna get back. Leipzig got 3 points. Man, these groups are getting very entertaining. Somebody please put up the groups because I want to know what they look like. And Valencia, okay, Valencia again. Oh, Benfica got 3 points. So Benfica has woken up. Can they continue? They still got 3 more games to go. What do we want to even start with? I don't really want to get into Real Madrid too much because it wasn't that great of a game.
Why not? You never get a chance to talk about them. So I actually wanted to hear what your take was, because I'm seeing things about Zidane's future, and you're a diehard fan. So what do you think? How can I put this? Do you think that he's going to be able to right the ship for the rest of the season, that you guys can have a strong season? Is he still the right man, basically? Do you still think he's the right guy for the job?
All right. Well, we did lose to Mallorca on the weekend. That was a basket case in itself. So, yeah, at that point, I was like, maybe it was a bad idea to call him back. But then again, it was our first loss of the season. Well, at least in the league.
Right.
So you can't really say too much, but then again, Barcelona takes over the lead in the league. So you kind of get antsy as a fan, and you're like, well, dang it, now Barca's back where they usually are, and it's like the carousel. We're back on the carousel, trying to figure out, are we going to be able to jump Barca?
Right.
And, so in the league, he didn't really show us anything. And then this week, we go to Turkey. It's not really the best of places. That we don't really have a good history in Turkey. I believe this is our second time winning at Galatasaray. I believe that's our 5th win in, I don't know, I believe it was like 10 visits or something. So we don't win there often. We lose a lot when we go to Turkey. We don't have a good history there. So to get the 3 points is great. The way we managed to do it, not so great. It just at times looks sloppy. And then Hazard missing open goal. Like, you do all that beautiful work, skill move to get around the goalie, and you have it there for you, but you decide to shoot it rather than pass it in. Like, nobody was there. Like, 2-0, and we go home happy, and we probably shut down the game from there. But no, we kept letting them in the game. Kroos's goal was beautiful, and then back to Hazard. Hazard has this personality where he wants to do everything. And as a Madrid fan, I've talked to this about with people at work that also follow Madrid. We want him to be that guy, like Ronaldo was. Like, Ronaldo demanded the ball. Ronaldo wanted to do everything. Ronaldo wanted to put the ball in the net, basically. We need Hazard to kind of have that same thing because we don't have anybody else on the pitch that does that. Benzema scores, but Benzema thinks as a passer first. Benzema sets you up. He's very creative. He can get through the lines and just set up plays and stuff like that. We don't have anybody that wants to score. And I guess that's why Benzema is scoring the most, because he sees everybody else like, yo, like, nobody's doing anything, so I guess I got to do it. And that's his position. He's a striker. You need to score.
He looks rejuvenated to me, Benzema.
Yeah, and mostly because he has to put the team on his back. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't have Ronaldo anymore, and Ronaldo is a big piece. And to be honest, I'm quite tired of talking about Ronaldo because we don't have him anymore. We need to figure out who is who, not who is Ronaldo now. Nobody's gonna measure up to him. Nobody's gonna do what Ronaldo did. We just need to find a way to consistently win, consistently find a form. Players just need to show up. Like, it's every game, who's gonna play good. One game, this guy plays good, so then we depend on him, and then it's a whole different game the next. I don't know. It's a lot. I can go on about Madrid for forever. It's just, like, James started good. Now James comes on as a sub, and he looks not great.
I actually forgot he went back there.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Same here.
What is he? He's been.
Vinicius can't score. We want Vinicius to be great. Rodrigo looks better than him. But, like, it's just, I don't know. But do I believe? Okay, to answer the question, because I totally went away from it. Zidane, yes, I'm gonna stick with Zidane. I don't see anybody else doing better. Does he know what he's doing sometimes? No, but I'm gonna stick with Zidane. I'm gonna write it because he's done it before. He'll figure it out. It's just the players got to meet him halfway too. You can't put everything on him. So, yes, Zidane. Where do we go from here?
I don't know. I heard Mourinho might come back.
Yeah, it's the locker room smells of Mourinho.
Yeah,
I heard Mourinho is talking to the team that Sal's wearing right now.
No, I don't think Bayern wants that. Not Bayern. I mean,
well, that's Dortmund or scuttlebutt.
I don't think any German team wants Mourinho right now.
I don't even know why Borussia would need Mourinho. Are they doing that bad in the league? They're not that off the first place. And Bayern keeps dropping points.
The league, I think Bundesliga is separated by 2 or 3 points, the top 16. Yeah. So and no one actually needs him.
And Bayern lost to Augsburg this past weekend, which is embarrassing. So I don't know. That league is a basket case in itself. Well, they beat Olympiacos. Olympiacos, I believe, is still hasn't in the first 3 games hasn't won a game. I feel bad because I believe I had them to come out. I don't know. I have to look back to my notes.
Back to that,
yeah. What games? Okay, let's get back to the man Pulisic. So he helps Chelsea. He propels Chelsea to a 1-0 victory over the group favorite Ajax.
Which I was really high on Ajax still, and I actually don't think I had Chelsea coming out of the group. Now that I think about it, now I'm actually looking here. I didn't have Chelsea coming out because I was one of the people that said that Lampard was going to struggle, and he is actually doing the exact opposite. Shows what I know.
Shows what we know because he's found a great balance.
Right. But just to piggyback off that, I'm just happy to see. I think we all are happy to see Pulisic out there, and not just being out there, but contributing. Guardiola water break, didn't even say it, but
sorry.
to see him out there contributing, just to know that football at the highest level isn't too big for him is what makes me excited and what makes me proud, because I know that around the world, I don't think we're looked at as capable of playing at a high level like that. So for an American to be able to be in that stage, even though he played in Dortmund and he was involved, but I think he's at a bigger stage as far as eyes globally, like watching him being at Chelsea, and just the fact that he's able to come out there, contribute is great, because we were coming for Lampard's head for not putting him out there. So I'm really happy for him, man.
Yeah, we haven't had Americans in the Premier League doing that well since Dempsey, since Howard,
Donovan,
yeah. And I'm forgetting one more, but that's beyond the point. I mean, if we can get more American players into the Premier League, at least we can be looked at as, okay, they're not a nation that produces flops. but we need a coach. But that's another story in itself.
That goes back to the whole U.S. soccer
story in itself. But as long as Lampard starts gaining faith in Captain America, things will be good for him. I mean, he can be on the bench and he can start certain games. It doesn't matter at this point. But if he's producing like he's producing, and we know he produces well, who can really stop Chelsea with that good midfield that they have?
Yeah, I'm going to say if he continues to play Pulisic, we're all up for it. We're all down with it, as we've previously stated already. But when we went back, if you did watch our last episode, we said Pulisic, if the U.S. continues to play the way they're playing, Pulisic shouldn't even play or think about playing because it's just a waste of his time. He could basically do what Carlos Vela does. Carlos Vela balls out almost anywhere he goes. He's balled out at LAFC. He played really good in Real Sociedad. They wanted to call him up all the time, and he was like, no, like, I'm good. I think I've probably seen Carlos Vela in the Mexico kit, I don't know, a handful of times.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather Pulisic play with Chelsea or Borussia or whatever club he's playing with, rather than to see him go and play a pathetic, measly, minutes with the U.S. national team at this point. Like, that's how I'm feeling, especially if Lampard continues to give him, continues to have faith in him and puts him up on the field. And with today's game, he's showing him, like, hey, man, like 10, 20, 30 minutes. I don't really know how many he played, but just any kind of minutes, and you're going to get something from Pulisic. He's a great player. He still has a lot of things to learn, but
so young, man. He's still so young.
Yeah, exactly. The potential is there, like right in Lampard's pocket. All he has to do is just take it out and just throw it on the field. So it's exciting to see. It's a shocker at that too. They were playing away, I believe.
Yeah, away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they go to Netherlands, get a 1-0 win versus the group favorite.
Big win.
A big win. They're a good 3 points. And it's mostly part by our American hero, Mr. Captain America, Pulisic. It's just great. Like, I saw that on Twitter and I was like, hell yeah. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. And then I quickly was like, damn, but it's not gonna do enough for us on the international stage, like, it's just
right. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it really is.
It gives us some type of hope though.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at Group H, and you have Chelsea and Ajax at 6 points each, and Valencia at 4. So we're looking at a group that is going to come down to the last minute. Yeah.
I believe,
is that potentially the group of death?
I believe. Yeah. I think it is, because it's a pretty decent group. I don't think any other group, like, there's a couple other groups like Inter Milan, Dortmund, Barca, but then you have Slavia, Praha. Ooh, I got it this time. Oh no, it's the Crvena Zvezda thing. Okay,
Red Star.
Yeah. That's the one that gets me. It's just, I like to say Slavia Praha. I don't know why, but like, so you got that group, but yeah, like Slavia Praha kind of like doesn't make it interesting. But like, I felt like this was a group of death because Lille, even though they play in Ligue 1, they should be better than what they're playing. But I guess the opposition is better. But then again, they got 1 point away from Valencia. But I'm reading here that there's a red card. I don't know if that played a factor.
It was should have been called a handball for Lille against them, and the goal shouldn't have counted. If that would have been the case, we would have seen Chelsea and Ajax at 6 and Valencia at 5. So that really would have made more of an interesting group right there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go. And then, so yeah, I would say that's the most interesting group because it's little low-key teams from 3 good leagues. Well, 2 good leagues, and historically, I guess you could say more. It's not that great of a league anymore. Ajax is really the mainstay in that one. And it mostly was entertaining because Ajax almost made it to the finals last year. Justin froze.
All right, he's there.
Okay, so he's there. Ajax almost made it to the finals. Valencia has a very good UCL history with Rafa Benitez, and then Chelsea had the Lampard story. So like it's these, like I said, these three low-key teams, and it's turning out to what we thought: 6 points tied at the top, and Valencia creepily behind with 4 points. And we still got 3 games. Leo could figure something out and change up the whole dynamic of this group. So yeah, it's a pretty good one. Onto another factoid of the UCL. Lewandowski finally claims 5th and sole position of top scorers in the UCL. So congratulations to Lewandowski, great striker. God clap everybody, yes. And then Barcelona. An interesting fact in that one that I caught on Twitter. Somebody tweeted that Luis Suarez had played over 30 hours without scoring an away goal. And then I proceeded to sneak myself into the comments and read a couple, and then people are like, "Oh, he just scored." And then everybody's like, "No, it was an own goal." So that kind of made me laugh. And so basically Suarez still continues without an away goal. And it's, like I said, over 30 hours of playing time without an away goal in the Champions League. That is not a good stat.
He's declining. He's been declining for a little while now.
Yeah, he's not. He still has his attacking positioning and all that. Like his technical, not as technical, but his game IQ is still up there. It's just, the technical aspect is climbing a little bit down the drain pipe. I always thought Cavani was better, but that's just a personal opinion. Tottenham.
Yes.
Are we impressed, or it's not that big a deal?
Not that big a deal. I mean,
they've got really big problems, man. That just masks over the issues that they have, because that's a team that they're supposed to beat, first of all. But like I said, man, that team, something is going on at that club, man. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is.
It's like
something is happening.
It's like a Band-Aid over the big gash kind of thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That team's gonna be blown up by the time the summer comes along.
Yeah, this summer is going to be huge for them, because not only do I think they're going to lose Christian Eriksen, I don't know if Pochettino's going to be there after this year either.
Man United.
I was reading something. I'm telling you, I think Pochettino's going to end up there. I was reading something that Eriksen might be transferred to, or Real Madrid might make an offer for Eriksen in the January window. How much I can take that or believe that, I guess I don't really know, but that was just something I read. Does anybody know the record that Mbappe basically made? Or
I believe he was the youngest to 15 goals in a UCL.
Yeah,
before a certain age. Yeah. So there was a stat that I saw that was pretty shocking, actually, that Mbappe has 15 Champions League goals to Hazard's 7 or 8, I believe.
I believe it was 8.
It was 8. Yeah, Hazard's 8 goals. And so he's like the youngest cat since Messi, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I read, something of that sort. Okay.
I mean, I'm looking at the groups right now, and we're looking at Group H, which is Chelsea, and Group G, which is Leipzig and Zenit, Lyon and Benfica. That's the only other group that I'm looking at that's close, because you have Leipzig up at 6, Zenit and Lyon at 4, and Benfica at 3 points. So that's another one that's going to come down really to the last minute.
Yeah. And I believe I have Benfica coming out of that group. I have Lyon and Benfica. So, yeah, it's a nice little melting pot there we got. A very interesting one. So Mbappe, I had him as like, I don't know if we talked about it, but I had him as like the big. And the thing is, he broke that record and he came on as a sub. Side note, and then also as another side note, I had him as coming out as the best player in the group stages. So anyway,
Whatever, man.
but yeah, so we had a very interesting Champions League. We get the Champions League again soon, very soon. So that's exciting. The next date for the Champions League is November 5th and 6th. And Ajax and Chelsea play again.
Yep.
So that's going to be interesting to see.
So Dortmund and Inter.
Who won this past one?
Inter won 2-0, and they are tied on points. So we're looking
with Barca?
No, Barca is sitting at the top right now on 7, and Inter and Dortmund are each sitting at 4.
4. Okay.
But because of goal differential, Inter is winning by one goal. So it really is right now. It's going to come down to those two, and whoever wins the next match day will probably decide it afterwards. So
yeah, but either of them can beat Barca on their good day. So that's going to be an interesting one to look into.
I mean, unless Slavia pulls something out of their hat and somehow beats one of them to like knock them out.
Yeah, and that would be very interesting. Any other games that we could? Napoli Red Bull. That was a good game. I believe the score today was 3 Napoli. They won in the last gasp kind of thing.
Yeah.
So maybe Red Bull can get the revenge. Bye, Justin.
Bye, Justin.
Sorry, guys, he didn't say goodbye. That was very rude of him. So Champions League next dates are 11/5, November 5th, and November 6th.
Yep.
And now we get to what's going on right now. I don't know.
I have it 0-0 still in the 52nd minute.
0-0 in the 52nd. You guys are making me miss this beautiful game, but I love you guys that much. This is who I'm talking about. Well, Justin's back. Everybody say, welcome, Justin. And your shiny head that we love so much.
Clearly, the shiny head is interfering with my internet today, people. I do apologize. Next week, I'll have a hat on.
We're looking at Club Brujas right now, man.
Hey, Club Brujas. They're pissed off because they lost 5-0 to PSG. Yeah. So, Sounders are playing right now. A couple hours ago, we saw Toronto make it through to the next round of the MLS Playoffs. And they will be waiting on Philadelphia or Atlanta, the last year's winner of the MLS Cup. Which, by the way, I wasn't happy about that, but whatever. I was very sour that Portland knocked us out. Ugh, dang it, Portland. But gladly enough, Portland is not in the picture anymore. We would have played them, I believe, if they beat Real Salt Lake.
Yes, it would have been the Cascadia Cup.
Yeah, the Battle of the Bay or Pacific Northwest or whatever you want to call it. So how's it looking right now? We got El Trafico tomorrow. Sal, how excited are you about that?
Nervous and excited because I know the Galaxy are El Cucuy for LAFC. And my concern is what the lineup will be, because Galotto has never had a consistent lineup. It's always switched. And that back line is so I can care less what the top three are or what our midfield is. It's my back line. Do we start the same back line that we started against Minnesota, which is 4 center backs just playing back there? Or do we start our 2 center backs and our natural left back and our natural right back? So that is my only concern at that point, because I really don't think LAFC has what it takes to beat us at this point. They can say they do, but as long as Zlatan is up in the middle, he's always going to have a say in the game. Plus, he's playing against his favorite goalkeeper, Tyler Miller. So, I mean,
he does love to bang goals against LAFC. That's one thing I can say from what I see. Most of his highlights are like bangers against that team.
Yeah.
he wakes up for some reason. The game against Minnesota, I think it was just the field was just messed up from the college game the day before. I mean, pieces of the field were popping up, and I don't think the ball was traveling that well. So, was there a goal?
No, almost. Overhead kick. I'm live watching Real Salt Lake and Seattle Sounders right now.
Wait, but who did the overhead kick here?
I cannot. You know, I'm an MLS novice.
Saved by Rui Diaz.
Yeah, woo. It was close.
The Peruvian.
But yeah, the way I'm looking at it is, if we can contain Carlos Vela and have him just frustrated the entire game, that team is nowhere without Vela. So frustrate Vela, make sure that he gets 1 or 2 touches and has to keep passing. The game is a Galaxy game, but it still makes me nervous as hell. The only reason is I'm going to see it on Twitter for a whole year.
Yeah.
All the trash talk. It's just going to annoy the shit out of me at this point.
Yeah, that's the worst part of like one of those like kind of matches. So Justin continues to want to leave us. Okay, he's back. He did a little disappearing act there for a second.
I don't know what's happening.
oh, Jordan. Sorry, guys. Interruption. Okay, nothing's really gonna happen. So yeah, like you said, Zlatan just wakes up. Last game, whatever. The rest of the team picked it up. It was great to see. That first goal, the run into the box, or the continuation of the run by, how do you say his name? Legit. Okay, and he plays for the U.S. men's national team too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you see, like, these big names and great players that we have, and here we are getting to watch them for their club, and they make these moments happen. And then you had, my God,
Jonathan Dos Santos.
Good story.
Dos Santos with a beautiful curler around the goalie. Like, it was just beautiful, man. And then, like, I was like, at that point, I wanted just to start tweeting like, "Oh yeah, LAFC, yeah, they're gonna get the game that they wanted," you know, like. And then they kind of scored a goal, and I was like, "Oh, maybe I should start backspacing a little bit because I don't want to ruin this." But at the end, we got what we wanted to see. Well, at least I wanted to see, because I would like to see Zlatan banging like 3 goals, like he did that one game against them earlier this season.
Yeah.
And then again, I would like to just be able to sit here face to face with Sal as we play each other in the Western Conference Finals. Like, what's more? Like, you guys will love it. I'm gonna love it. Sal will love it. And then he'll have to either hear from me on Twitter for the rest of the year, or I'll have to hear from him. But
I'd actually love to see that. I'm actually praying for that. Like, I'm on my knees for that, man. Seriously, that'd be awesome.
But yes, it is a bittersweet playoff scenario for me. This is my last season as a Sounders fan. I've seen a lot of beautiful Sounders football. Sounders anecdote, we've made the playoffs every season. And then I'm just going to go through some Sounders all-time greats, or at least for me. I'm going to go with Freddie Ljungberg, Casey Keller, which should be a namesake for a lot of people, at least in America. Osvaldo Alonso, he now plays for Minnesota and just got knocked out by Sal's team. Chad Marshall, Obafemi Martins, Clint Dempsey, which I'm wearing right now because the man is a legend. Freddie Montero. And then I'm going to add these 3 because they're doing what they're supposed to do, and they're going to be later in the future Sounders greats, but they're already great as it is. Jordan Morris, which is one of my favorite players right now, and I trash talked a whole ton.
I do want to make a point about him too once you're done as well.
Nicolas Lodero, which is an Uruguayan, and I don't know what it is. I'm telling you guys, you'll learn as we make more episodes. I have a fascination with Uruguayan soccer players and the national team. They just produce great talent. They do. Lucas Torreira that plays in Arsenal, great player. You know what I'm saying? It's just they're everywhere. Fede Valverde that plays in Real Madrid. Okay, but I digress. And then the last name is Christian Roldan, which is another U.S. men's national team namesake. And it's just like Sounders just produce great football every season. And like I said, they made the playoffs every season. So hopefully we win this game. And in the East, who do we want in the East? Okay, so Sal, let me put it this way to you. If you guys make it to the finals, who do you want to play?
I want Philadelphia.
That's a good game.
The way I see it, I don't think Atlanta, at their best, anyone is going to beat. And for when they lost to LAFC, I think that was just a fluke. It should have really been Atlanta's game. So Atlanta, by my watching the league, has been the best team MLS has seen. I don't want to see that. Toronto, we would have to go up to Toronto. And I do not want to go up to Canada at this point in time. At least going to Philadelphia, it's a different scenario. And I know we can beat Philadelphia. So I'm rooting for Philadelphia all the way at this point.
Okay. I would probably go, well, we've beat Toronto before. I guess Justin watching his Seattle game over there is having technical difficulties. We beat Toronto before in 2016, so I wouldn't mind playing Toronto. But as you can tell, Toronto is playing with a chip on their shoulder because they really took it to NYCFC. But they also got lucky because that penalty kick at the end of the game, or the dying moments of the game.
Yep.
Atlanta, I would probably want to play Atlanta. I want to play every team because, to be honest, I feel the Sounders can beat everybody. The Sounders always have the talent to beat everybody. I think the weakness is on the fullbacks for this team. Fry is a really good goalkeeper. He can get scored on a lot sometimes, but okay, I have two of them. Okay, I'm so confused. Sorry, guys. All right, Justin, welcome back. But if I were to pick a team that I want to play the most, I'm gonna go with Atlanta. I want to be able to say that we beat the best. You know what I'm saying? At least the best in the East. NYCFC, yeah, they may have had the first seed, but I don't know. They showed today that they weren't really that good.
Yeah, when it comes to the first seed in MLS, I don't think number one has ever made it all the way, or it's a very small percentage that the first place team has gone all the way and won the cup. So and winning Supporter Shield, you know this, Mario, the curse of the Supporter Shield. If you win the Supporter Shield, you're bound to lose in the playoffs. So
that's interesting.
That's true. And so I'll go with Atlanta. And then my question to you is, when will MLS actually have the final, like in a neutral ground, I guess you could say? Like, do you think the MLS needs that, or are you okay with the fact that you play on who has the better seed or whatever?
I'm all right with the better seed because you don't have the score.
Yeah, sorry.
Yep.
Died right when it literally died right before that. My phone. I had it on my phone. It freaking died.
We're looking at goodbye if it stays.
Yeah.
But yeah. See, to me, if it's a Seattle and Atlanta, you have to take it to a neutral ground, just because both fan bases can fill up a neutral ground. But if it's an NYCFC versus, say, from the West, Minnesota or RSL, keep it at first place. But if it's NYCFC, you can't do it at Yankee Stadium. Let's just be honest. No one wants to see a baseball field. But if you can fill a neutral stadium, then by all means, go for it. MLS doesn't have that, so we have to keep having it at whoever has the higher seat at this point.
Yeah. I always thought that was kind of odd, but then again, like we just had a Copa Libertadores game, Boca and River Plate. River Plate goes on to the final. And for those of you that don't really watch Libertadores, when you get to the final, it's still two legs. You have a home and away. I find that very odd.
That is pretty weird.
I feel a final should just be a one and done. You win.
Right.
Period. And that comes, and I come back to MLS. Like last season, you had the first game, one and done, and then you had home and aways.
Yeah.
So you got to the final. They could scratch that. This year it's just winner goes and loser goes home. And find out a lot better. I still have the issue of not having a neutral ground for the final. And like you said, if your team or my team were to play the NYCFC, that's a shitty final, to be honest. Like that's the setting is just horrible. You're playing at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees aren't even, in the playoffs themselves. And here you are, like, playing at their stadium. It's just, I don't know, it's just not nice. I hope it changes. I hope the Mafia boss, Don Garber, figures something out.
Well, this has definitely been really something for me to absorb as far as trying to integrate myself into MLS. But I wanted to go back about the Jordan Morris thing because, like I said, like I told you guys before the show, like I've been watching the playoffs and like it's really exciting stuff like that they're going in. But Jordan Morris, he has diabetes, I believe, and the dude, I think they went into extra time. The dude is on the bench, pricking his finger, checking his blood sugar, making sure he's good to go. The man goes out there, scores the winner. Like, yo, that's the type of stuff that is, you know what I mean? Like that was like, I was like, oh, this is freaking awesome. Like, what a soldier, you know what I mean? Like, and then I was just like, yo, after that, I was like, yeah, I need to, I mean, not just because he has, that's something that he's dealing with, but I just thought like, yo, what, you know what I'm saying? What a champion at heart, you know what I mean? To go out there, because he looked exhausted, by the way. You know what I'm saying? He checked his blood sugar, everything was good. He went out there, and then what does he do? He scores a winner for his team, and they move on. And I wanted to kind of just get that out before I actually ended up disappearing again. So yeah.
And then
to intriguing as hell.
And to top that off, today he got a Comeback Player of the Year award.
Yep.
So that's also a great thing, and that's what I'm saying. Jordan Morris he's been playing in Seattle since 2016. He's already at like 30 goals, I believe. And the top scorer is, I believe it's Freddie Montero, then Clint Dempsey. So, and Clint Dempsey, once he left Seattle, he was like at like 55, 57, something like that. So Jordan Morris in the span of 3 years is more than halfway caught up to Clint Dempsey's numbers. And it's just, the man is just, he's doing what he needs to do. And it's great to see him come back from such a horrible injury. Any knee injury is never a good thing. But like I said, when I first saw Jordan Morris, I saw him live. It was my second Seattle Sounders game. And I was just like watching, and I'm like, why is this guy playing? This guy is horrible. His positioning is the worst. His passing was just downright atrocious. And I'm like, you need to get this guy out the field. And then they got him out the field, and I was clapping, not to give him a round, like a standing ovation. I was more to like, yes, coach, like, good job. You got him off, like, finally. And then it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. I talk crap about all these players and managers, and look at them now. Like,
proven wrong. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of it, dude, that you get proven wrong.
It really is. And it makes me fall in love with him as a player. Like, he's great. And every time I see him on the national team, I'm like, yes. I was like, we're putting out our best product. And then the national thing is his own issue, but like when I see him play for Seattle, I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to see. And it's great to celebrate it one more time. So
yep.
I'll see you in the next round, Sal.
Hopefully.
Yo, I'm hoping for that. What a show that was gonna be. You gotta let me mediate. You gotta let me host that one. If you guys go up again, that's gonna be awesome. I need it.
That'll be a show of its own.
Yeah, I mean, if things all go well, for how much time do we have left for Seattle?
We have 20 minutes. Jordan Morris, as a matter of fact, actually got subbed off.
So if 20 minutes, say 25 minutes, everything goes well, yeah, we'll see Seattle, and then hopefully tomorrow everything works out for the Galaxy. Because I mean, at this point, what I've been hearing is tickets were not actually allocated to our fan base, so they're trying to keep us out. They're trying to keep us out of their home, so we don't make noise. So,
I mean, and that game, your time is what? 7:00?
7:30.
7:30. So by 11, it's already over, right? It's way over. Dang it. So okay. So unfortunately, well, I guess I can watch it starts at 7:30, so I can watch like half an hour because I get on a flight at 8:35, but I land in your side of the country at 11:41. So yeah.
So by the time you land, the finals.
I have to look at my phone then, and then you guys, if you guys follow us on Twitter, you can see the madness there. If you heard that, it is a Florida earthquake. I'm just joking. So yeah, well, this has been a long, beautiful hour. I told you we threw everything of soccer on top of you. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sal just threw the rest that we couldn't get to you. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys are still here with us, or you skipped through it, you skimmed it, you watched a minute here, a minute there, a minute everywhere, drop a like, subscribe, and I promise you our next show is not going to be this long. But yeah, Justin, do you want to hit him with? Of course,
you already know what to do. Follow at FieldTalk _Benzie, at South Talk Soccer, at FieldTalk _FieldTalk. Content. We coming always.
So there you go. Justin gets his cheerleading out the way. There you go. He's giving you more. It's content. He's not joking.
Exactly.
So yeah, right now Seattle's winning 1-0, and I'm about to say goodbye so I can finish watching the rest of it. And I hope you guys have a good night, good morning, good afternoon, whenever you're watching this. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe, like, and deuces, everybody.
Later.